We have gone, we have come. What bad?
Okay, welcome to another episode of Life Diary Podcast with Debs and Fire. Is the budget man a bad person?
Are you playing the right game to wealth?
Yeah.
Sorry, English. You also come on, Lori.
See your cheeks. Stop greeting people with that, by the way.
That's boost.
Is somebody listening? This word is for you.
Hello, beautiful people. It's another beautiful time with us. So you're welcome to Life Diary with Debs and...
I'm not sure.
I ruined it.
No.
So you want me to... Oh, yeah.
No.
You're welcome to Life Diary with
Debs and
Fire. Later, you complain that my voice is too high-pitched. Please.
you are voice shaming me.
I'm not voice shaming you.
I don't like it.
Be calming down.
Welcome, guys. Welcome to Life Diary Podcast.
How's your people's
We're glad
life?
to have you back.
Yes.
Popsicle, what's happening? Kilo shele kapo sore toa.
I know you still do internship with Radio Lagos.
Radio Lagos.
Radio
Call
Lagos,
me.
you have Otuni.
Call me.
You're proud, fam.
Yes, I'm proud. Please.
You say make Radio Lagos
Yoruba
call
me
you.
deep. Don't look at me that way.
Give proverb. Drop one proverb now. Sorry, drop
Ọmọdé
it.
tó bá láṣọ bí àgbà kò lè lákìsà bí àgbà.
Guys, God has saved you. Yes, you can.
What do you?
What triggered this? What do
Stop
I?
it.
What do you want to say?
Kòkòrò tó ń ṣe kíní díẹ̀ wọlé.
Kíni kòkòrò ṣe ní
I've forgotten that one. That one missed me. It's
kòkòrò
right
tí
now.
jẹ́ fọ́.
Ìdí ẹ̀fọ́ ló wà, yes.
Ìdí ẹ̀fọ́ ló wà.
Yes. Somebody I know that was supposed to insult me.
Yes,
Oh,
let that person insult you.
God. But yes,
Let that person
my Yoruba
insult
is
you.
deep, you know. Even though, don't let me go too deep, but let's continue. Because I want to say that, courses in Yoruba.
I knew that was where you were going to play Yoruba. Yoruba causes that this baby is thinking of.
No.
Well, how deep
It's
Yoruba
deep.
is.
Even
I get you.
blessings. Let's not go.
Yeah,
that
blessings
far.
of course is.
But welcome.
all
Now, how
that.
you doing?
Good.
Popsicle.
Good, bro.
Do you have money for me?
Me,
I'm looking for money.
I want listeners.
It's you.
Me.
I
No
bill
man,
you
now
for
send me
a
your dollar
living.
account.
I bill you for a living.
We all know that. Everyone that is close to you knows that you be Billings
I
way.
don't like what you're doing.
Number 42, Billings way.
See, you guys, I can't help it.
No, but it's
You
all
must
love.
be billed.
We love her.
Yes. All my family
We
members.
love her.
They
We love
collect.
her. Then they
time.
collect every
Every time.
But about who at the end? She's our child, Omowunmi.
No problem. So
Yeah.
welcome, guys. Did you guys listen to the last episode? Yes. Have you guys applied the tips? Let me know.
Yes, we'd like to know what's up now.
Baby girl, baby boy.
We'd like to
Please,
know what's
the
up with your
lifestyle
tips.
is very important, man. So welcome to today's episode. Debs, what do you have for us?
Well, today we have another interesting and beautiful guest in the house today. And that's Wumi, the CEO of Shopify.
Actually,
Shopify.
Do you know, it's
Apologies.
actually so easy to like confuse it.
Yes.
I feel like you will get a lot of sales because of that. Are you sure? You know, I feel, like
I'm
if
not
you,
sure
if you do your SEO very well,
On it.
that's for anybody that searches
For Shopify, okay.
Shopify will come out.
Okay, so I think what typically happens,
Okay.
especially for Twitter, is that when you search Shopify comes out
up,
and you don't see
interesting.
Shopify. But yeah, that's what
that's
happens
the
on
SEO
Twitter.
thing,
But
yeah.
then for like Google and everything works fine.
Fine.
Our website is currently hosted on Shopify. So like when we wanted to do the
interesting.
registration, they didn't let us use Shopify.com. It wasn't, so I even had to send them an email and they were like, oh, it's not available because of like, okay, fine. We just had to add something else.
Wow.
Like, so we had to like put the store at the back so that it would go through. And then everybody's always asking, oh, you got that from Shopify? Oh my God.
And and that's the thing about ideas. And we have started the conversation, but we'd like to backtrack a bit.
Yes.
But before I say that, before we go to that, that's the thing about ideas. You think someone stole your idea, but meanwhile, you're in your house
Thinking
receiving
about
an
ideas
idea.
are
Yes, so it's
dime
like
a dozen.
first to
Yeah.
yes, it is. So it's like
Creativity
first to scale or first to start.
Yeah.
Gets that praise at the end of the day. So we'd like to meet you more, Wumi.
Yes,
so
please
who is
introduce
Wumi of
yourself.
Shopify?
Okay. Okay. When you say it like that, you make it sound very formal.
Yeah.
I don't know what to say.
So we're going to mix
Okay,
formal and personal
yeah.
together.
Okay, my name is Wumi. Well, Omowumi Kolawole, and I graduated from the University of Lagos in 2012. I read political science. I read political science.
Wow,
I worked in a couple of places, a couple of startups, retail stores before I then the final place I worked before I then decided to go into my own thing full time was in a financial institution. I don't want to call their name, basically. So I have like sort of like a structured background. So it makes it like easier. I mean, I've
Easier,
worked with startups and all that, so it made
Yeah.
it easier for me to. I'd started Shopify on the side.
Okay.
When I was at the
Wow.
financial
Focused
institution.
queen.
Yeah.
So I started it, and to be honest, I didn't quit the banking job to continue to do Shopify. I had to quit. Well, this is something that I usually don't say. It was part sexual harassment and part
I hope you
me
sued
being
them.
very
left it to God.
I had to manage my little resources. I didn't want to go into that because the lines were very blurred, and then
okay.
it would have been a case of he said, she said. So I didn't want it to
You
get
didn't have
like
receipts.
yeah. So yeah, exactly. So I didn't want it to get past that. So even my colleague at the time didn't exactly know why I was leaving. I just made an announcement in the open office one day that, oh, I'm leaving, guys. And it was like, and then also it was more like, oh, there's no career path for me here.
Yeah,
If
okay.
like this person has already made it super clear. So, and then like I wanted to do my own thing because so I like had to quit because I wanted to like figure out what exactly I was going to be doing. Then I had Shopify, so I was working on it on the side, and it just picked up.
Yeah,
And I never went back. So
Wow, that's good. That's good. That's good. That's good. That's good.
So,
I like it. I love to see it.
And
Honestly.
you know, in answering that, you have given us some insight into your background, like coming from a structured environment. So I am immediately projecting the fact that means Shopify straight up.
Yes, you have
structure and the
in
likes.
mind,
And how
yeah.
was it like? Like it feels like you were thrown into the deep end, you know, not knowing you were going to leave 9 to 5 that early. So how did how did you transit? What was the hack? You know, how was the support like? You know, they say in your last show and all those things. So like, how did you go through that? You know,
well,
I don't want to call it stormy time, but it
okay.
wasn't.
I usually don't. Like I said, I didn't plan to. I didn't want to go into Shopify. Like that wasn't the reason
Straight
that I
up.
quit the job.
Yeah.
I just wanted to figure out what I needed to be doing, which was like a luxury that a lot of people would say that they didn't have because I mean,
Yes.
you're in Nigeria, you're quitting your job. I remember my mom calling my uncles, everybody not in Nigeria,
Family
please talk
meeting.
to her. She's going to, and then she said, what exactly do you want to do? At the time, I didn't even know. I just said that I'm going to try to apply to a few places and see what I come up with, but I don't think that environment was for me. Even if there was a career path, it wasn't just what I wanted to do, continue to do long term. So I wanted to figure it out, and my mom was like, you don't have time to figure things out. You have a job, you stay there, and then you look for another one. And
I
I'm
think
like,
sorry to cut
okay.
short. I think that's the difference between their generation
And ours,
the
actually.
generation as well, because they can stick through things.
Before you know it, we've packed our bags.
Bro.
And so me, I was just like, I'm unhappy. My mother was like, who cares about happiness? You're making money.
Yeah.
So it wasn't. And then she was like, what are you going to do? So they were, but the kind of person my mother is like, she may not understand something. She just needed to get enough time to understand it, and then she will support you to the best of her ability. So she was afraid for the most part, but then she was like, okay, let's see how this pans out. Let's see where this goes. And like I said, I didn't plan to do Shopify full time. I was just sleeping, waking up and watching movies and trying to figure out. So when people say, are you applying for jobs? I'm like, yeah, I'm applying. Actually wasn't applying for the first 1-2 months. I wasn't applying. I was just there like, okay, I will figure it out eventually. And then an opportunity came and I seized it for Shopify because it was just something I was doing on the side. I didn't think that I was going to do it long term. I didn't think I was going to do it permanently. It was just going to always be on the side for me. But then the opportunity came, I took it, and I was like, okay. Then my mom was like, even if you wanted to do this full time, how is it sustainable that you make a living from selling shoes from your house? I don't get, how do you do that? I'm like, I don't know, I'll figure it out eventually. And then when she started to see it, like maybe 12 months later, she was like, okay, yeah, you're onto something here.
Yeah.
Then that was when she was now openly supporting.
Supportive, yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Telling everybody, then loaning me money and all of that.
You know,
That's
the
the
first
difference.
loan comes from family and friends.
Yeah.
Most
All
of the
the
time.
time.
Most of
Yeah,
the time.
actually,
All the
you need that
time.
family and friends money.
Yeah.
If not, you probably won't go anywhere.
You can't even
Yes.
start with Bomule Lantern.
Yes, like
You want to what? You want to sleep on what? On a bicycle. So I that's like so good, and it just shows that everybody has a story, and then the fact that you have come this far. So there is our lives are not straight on a
yeah.
straight path, and like
I
you
agree.
said, you're still trying to figure stuff out, and then here you are. So I like to also know that, they always say that entrepreneurs, they are the ones that are the chief soft lifers. They say you guys are the ones that are chop soft. Yes, now. Because we're on the third mainland bridge, 6 a.m. in the morning. Is that not an example of a soft life?
no. Entrepreneurship is 24 hours now.
Yes, but there are some perks. Okay, or do you disagree with me?
100% because so maybe the only part actually that I enjoy doing that I'll probably never trade for anything in life is that I get to work from home 24/7.
Yeah.
So I know that some people are also running their own businesses, but they don't have the luxury of doing that.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
that's the part that I appreciate. So when COVID came and people started to talk about, oh, I have to work from home, I'm like, I'm way ahead of you guys. I've been doing this for
Yeah,
about 3 years.
yeah.
I don't know what you guys are talking about.
You've seen the
This is
future.
my life, basically.
Wow.
So that's the part that I would not trade for anything. So when my friends ask me, oh, do you think anybody can pay you a salary to work for them? And I'm like, well, if I have to do it in my house, maybe consulting, but definitely not a full-time,
full-time
waking
role,
up,
yeah.
going to work. I would never do that under any circumstances. I'm sorry.
I agree. Because that's the absolute ghetto.
It is actually.
Especially if you live in
Together.
Lagos, it's
I
tough.
I was going to ask
City,
you
to
about
be
that.
honest.
It's tough. It's actually very tough.
Living in Lagos and working in Lagos is not for the weak. Then you are now working for yourself in Lagos. How do you navigate surviving in Lagos as an entrepreneur? Bills, working with other people, and then even when I'm asking you a very broad question though.
Yeah.
Even when you meet up with roadblocks, there are times. So I was in one situation one time, our boss lambasted us so bad. By the time I got back home, I literally had to go through my CV oh, you did this. You must be doing something right. I literally had to psych myself. So how often do you go through that route of, maybe doubt and, oh, I can do this, and then relating with people? How do you manage moment of, I was born for this, and then sometimes you're like,
I don't think I see road yet.
yeah, why are we still here?
Yeah.
So how's that, journey been so far?
Okay, well, we usually, the way we say that every Nigerian family is one serious illness, like the average Nigerian family, not every,
Right.
is one serious illness away from being proper broke. Is the
Yeah.
same way every Nigerian entrepreneur, you're one government policy away from being out of business.
Agreed.
Basically. So
Wow.
there's so many policies that have been formulated in the past that have greatly affected, especially post-COVID, that have affected business. A lot of businesses affected us too. I feel like we are living in 1,000 ways to die in Nigeria, basically.
Squid Games.
As soon as you catch up with how to manage something, for example, I don't have to commute every day, so it makes my life easier in that aspect. But then I have other roadblocks. Sometimes you are literally waking up and part of your prayer point is, God, please let them not take light for the next 6 hours, because I have a lot of things to do. And then you have to provide your own electricity. You have to provide this. You have to talk to staff members. You have to deal with people who, logistics is not very friendly. And seeing that we're 100% online, that's something that really breaks my heart, because I'm thinking, how bad can it possibly? There's Google Maps. It has to be a company outside there that can make this thing as easy as possible. So you have to find a way to manipulate or go over the system to make sure that you are sane. Because people, when they say, oh, sorry, I see you guys have you have logistics on a lockdown. How do you do it? I'm like, we have to pay serious money for that to actually work. And if you are not ready to, if you are trying to cut costs at that point, you're going to be killing your business.
Yeah.
So for me, basically, there was a time, especially running a business in Nigeria, if you're starting on a very, very small scale, the way I started, it would be you are the admin, you are the customer service, you are the accountant, you are everything that you want in business, you are everything. And then separating all those things. Especially, I had help, like support from family, my siblings.
Okay.
Basically, there were
Works
times that
with
they
you.
had to do deliveries for me. There were
Yeah.
times that I cried that my father had to
Now
pick me
everybody
up.
go work.
My father had to.
everybody
My father
go
had to pick me up and say, "What? Why are you crying?" I said that I have deliveries. My dispatcher has switched off his phone, and then I started to cry. My father was like, "Let's go to those addresses one by one," and I'm
Yeah.
like,
Wow.
"Wow, we're going to have to do this." I'd been on bike before on a Friday evening where I had like 7 packages going from Ejigbo to Surulere to Ikoyi to VI to do deliveries by myself. So, like, because I was trying to make sure that the customers, I mean, it's Friday, you can't give an excuse. Somebody wants to wear their shoes to the club, somebody wants to wear it to a wedding tomorrow morning. There's a bride who has to wear their shoes. Like, I had custom season shipments one time when I had brides that had done pre-orders of shoes, and it was a lot of, like, oh, I'm so sorry, I know that. So, you have to, like, keep talking to people. I'm so sorry, it is going to come, I promise you. It's just that. But then my wedding is next week, so it's not your promise that will make this thing come. So there's, like I say, it's like you're living in a game in real time.
Like,
it's hard.
I want to go the finance route because that is more of my forte.
Okay.
Yes. So, do you have financial statements?
Yes, I used to work in a financial institution.
Okay.
So for some reason, it kind of like because when I talk to other people who run businesses, I see that some people don't even pay themselves salary.
Yeah.
Some people
So
don't
that
even
means
separate
you
their
pay
personal
yourself
account.
salary.
I don't have a choice. It's a company.
Alright.
There's nothing I can do about that.
Alright.
So some people don't pay themselves salary. Some people don't even know how to look at their income statement. They don't even have separate accounts from their personal accounts, their business accounts. They don't know that you have access to some sort of funding if you have a certain type of account.
Flow.
Because exactly. So then when the funding comes or when you're supposed to apply for things, if your books are not in order, you are not able to get this support that you so need. So basically,
So now,
like,
do you prepare your financial statements or do you get someone to do
also,
that?
we have, thankfully, you don't have to hire an accountant to do that. You can just get an accounting firm and then they assign you an accountant. And then, so you just send in your bank statement at the end of the month. So they do the management account and send you the reports and then you are good to go. That's what we do.
So you go through the route of an accounting firm rather than an accounting software?
Yes, actually. And then I also, maybe because I also still talk to people about their businesses out, because basically for me, it's like hands-on experience. It's not like something that I learned in the 4 walls of your school.
Sure.
So it's like we are practical things that I have done and then I've worked, and especially as to how they relate to the Nigerian business and the climate that we are in.
The climate is
so so basically, like I always say that except you absolutely have to spend the money, maybe you shouldn't. You can create an Excel templates where you can put in your numbers, like automated sheets, and then you get your data at the end of the month, so you can know, because data is king. Sometimes you're just living on vibes, like you don't know what's going on. You're thinking, oh, did we make more sales last month than this month? Are we even profitable? And all of those things. So you have to figure them out.
What I would say to any entrepreneur out there right now is that if you can afford an accounting firm or an accountant to put your books together, and you can learn QuickBooks, do bookkeeping.
Yes,
and learn.
exactly.
There's QuickBooks, there's zero. Just do it and learn.
You can also use Sage. I think we used that for
Sage
a while.
is
Sage is, I just used to leave it to the person that was assigned to us. Like, basically, like, you know what, this is your thing. Just deal with it.
Because I remember, like, in 400 level, we had to learn accounting softwares, right? Because it was a thing. And it was Sage. Now, if they even give me Sage, I'll just be looking at them. Like, excuse me. Well, accounting, it's my baby, but not necessarily my first love, by the way. So, so what I want to say is that another question I have for you is that what is the smallest funding you've gotten and the highest funding you've gotten, if you can disclose?
Oh, okay. When you say funding, like we said at the beginning that sometimes you get funding from family and friends. First set of people that will give you
type of funding.
Okay, so the very first money that was invested in the business, apart from the 70,000 I had when I quit my job, I usually say,
and
apart from that, I
as a day ago.
Yes, actually, that was about $200 or so.
Right?
Yeah, yes.
As of 2016, I think dollar was a little bit less than 300.
At the time, the very first money that I got to put into the business, because I saw that by the time I had, like, I wasn't working 9 to 5, I was watching movies. I had more time to, like, look, oh, this isn't right, let me just do this, let me just do that. I was just doing them, like, not putting 100% into it, just like at my own time. And then I saw that some things were working, and I was like, okay. So the very first month, I took a loan of 200,000 naira loan from my friend Zuma. Shout out to him wherever he is right now, because he didn't ask me so many questions, and that was somebody that I met like 3 times in total physically at the time. It was more social media. It wasn't living in Nigeria. I just said, oh, I have this thing, and I'm hoping that I'll pay over a period of time. I'll pay like every month. I'll pay you maybe 30,000 naira every month till I'm done paying the money. And he says, okay, fine.
Did you pay an interest on that 100K?
He didn't ask for it, basically. He didn't ask for it. Subsequently, there were times that I needed to collect money from some people. Like, oh, you have to pay me interest. You know that Naira is falling and everything. So basically, at the time, exactly. So I didn't pay interest on that at the time.
That's good. So that means the first investment you had was 70,000 Naira. The reason why I'm asking this is that a lot of people always think that
it takes nothing to start.
No, that
it takes a lot of money to
start, right? And a lot of times that is really not the case. You don't need so much to start a business. As long as you have the knowledge. See, when you have the knowledge, it saves you more money than when you don't have the knowledge.
I completely agree with you. When you put like maybe 5 business owners small business owners, specifically small business owners, when you put 5 of them in a room and you ask, oh, what do you think your business needs right now? Everybody's going to say money, funding. But when I talk to people, I realize that sometimes, most of the time, they don't need the funding yet. Because when you ask them what they're going to use the funding for, it's, oh, we'll buy equipment that you don't necessarily need at that stage of the business. Everybody wants to be fancy. They want to run the fancy business. But fancy is not going to make the money, make your books balance at the end of the day. You don't need the probably lecky store that you have gone to rent at this stage of your business that you haven't acquired customers. So you probably don't need the 2 million naira camera that you're buying to shoot whatever that you're doing till you get at that time.
Remember the first time
at that stage of the business, you don't need
story, right? Because I feel like a lot of people on this podcast, well, some people would know now. RBF.
Oh yes, no.
Remember the first time we shot lip balms in the house? The funniest thing was she was the one that did it. So what I did was I got background papers.
She already had the ring lights. We just had
like it was and people will look at it and think, because I remember that time I wanted to call my friend Praise and say, Praise, come and shoot the product. When the person drops money, I said, I'm sorry, dear.
When you get
she called her Ina Kelechi Amadiobi.
Came out.
We will do it. Don't worry.
Like, some people don't even know that. Maybe, you can just use your phone and natural lighting.
Yes.
You don't have the studio yet and all of that. The day is brighter. But because I had to do all these things, so I know someone's like, the day is the weather favors you from maybe 4 to 6 p.m. All of those things, like, especially if you are doing products and that.
Yeah,
so.
You definitely learn on the job.
Yes,
like, see, a lot of things, like, especially people that do, let's say, business administration in school and the likes, a lot of things you learn on the job. Look at even accounting. Like, there are a lot of things I've learned in the finance world that in school, I just think about this. What were you people teaching me? I'm sorry, like, what were you people teaching me? So, another thing I now also want to say is that, so we talk about your smallest funding. Now, your highest funding, you don't necessarily need to say the amount of money, right? If you're not comfortable. And why I'm asking this is, I want to know what led to you getting that money. So when I mean what led to you getting that money is that your sales volume, because a lot of things, because I work in the financial analysis field, right?
Okay.
And in building models, if you are going to raise money, your investors want to see, especially if it's something that it's a early stage business, right? They want to see the type of revenue you've gotten and the like. So how much have you even made? Do you have your books? How many sales? And you know your this thing is not a service, it's a volume business. It's a
product, so it's retail, it's volume.
It's volume.
The more volume you do.
What they want to be hearing is that
the numbers that you can, exactly.
Have you sold like 10,000 shoes?
Yes,
how many
exactly.
shoes
that's what they are trying to ask you.
In
and
a period
how profitable
of year 1 to year 6, what is
have
the
you
growth?
Grown? Yes, exactly. Like, what's your year-on-year growth, basically?
So now, in raising your largest fund, right, what were the things you had to put in place?
Okay, for the most part, let me say for the first 3 years of the business, I can say 100%. I mean, I'm grateful for those experiences, but there are so many things that I know now that if I knew then, the growth would have been faster, would have moved forward better, and all of that. And no thanks to COVID, obviously, that slowed things down. Basically, at that time, it was more like, oh, mommy, please borrow me 500K. Mommy, please borrow me 200,000. Like, then it started to increase. So, imagine you borrowing 100,000 from your mother today, and the next 6 months, you're already borrowing maybe 500 to woman. And then she's like,
that's impossible.
What's going on here? Like, how much like money are you like? You're putting so much money into this thing. Are you getting it? And then this, because of the USP at the time, it was more like, okay, so there's fast delivery, there's efficient in service, and all of that. And for that to be put in place, you need to stock because you need to have the inventory on ground. So this is not something. So I need you to pre-order or whatever. That model, then your business model is entirely different. But if the model is, you get this thing under 24 hours of ordering, you get it package, whatever it is that you want to do, you can order now and we'll respond to you in the next 2 minutes and all of that. Then you need to know that the items are supposed to be readily available. And for that to be available, inventory acquisition is not a joke. Like, it takes a lot of money. So because this is not one type of product, this is not 2 types of product, not 10, 15, 50 types of products. So it is very capital intensive. And then the more you grow, the more demands you get, the more people want varieties, and then the more money that you have to put in the business. So basically it was more, friends and family. Sometimes it will be like a pool of friends, like maybe 2-3 friends will just borrow money from them, and then eventually, and then it moved to bank loans. So as the time it moved to bank loans, it was more like, okay, you are qualified to get this based on your last 6 months to 1 year transactions. You are qualified to get this amount of money. And then I'm going to say that Nigeria is not very great when it comes to funding businesses or giving small business loans, regardless of the numbers that you're doing. Because I would speak to friends that are outside of the country, and they will say that if you are doing the numbers that you are doing, then banks need to be looking for you to give you money at this point, because they know that like your record shows that you are steadily doing this business. Exactly. So I can see your bank statement, I can see what you're doing, then that means that people should be looking for you. But Nigeria is not a country that knows what it is doing, basically. So we are currently in the process of actually like raising funds for equity. That's what we try to do the entire year, like putting everything together, making sure that everything is solid. Okay, so then there's the barrier of, it's retail, it's not tech, so nobody really wants to invest in MSMEs, blah, blah, blah.
I can drop an
like
idea
that.
for you.
This episode is brought to you by Filmstreak. Filmstreak is a media production company with a focus on post-production, and that includes video editing, motion graphics, and visual designs. So if you are a business in need of content and brand building, Filmstreak is your guy, and you can reach out to them via IG, Instagram. That's Film, and Streak is spelled STRIK. Same on Facebook at Filmstreak. And you can reach out to them via their phone numbers 081 470 11102 and plus 130 321 98451. Thank you to Filmstreak for sponsoring this episode. Big ups to you guys.
You could actually infuse tech in it, by the way.
Yes, that's what we've been working on that basically 100%. And then there's the point of you need to find a co-founder, then you need to all of those things like
tech driven.
So because most of the tech spaces, they need more than one founder, and then you need to exactly. So now there's the process of finding a co-founder, then there's the challenge of, is this person just coming because this thing is set already, I'll just come and relax. There's work to be done. So are you actually great? Like, are you
going to
good?
Work?
Are you going to work for the business?
It depends on the type of co-founder you are getting. Different roles. If you are getting a co-founder that is a CTO, or a co-founder that is a CPO, or a co-founder that is a CMO, so or COO actually. Yes, because But one thing I know I can say for free is that you can put in tech
into the business. That's that's the angle that we are looking to go with right now. And we actually have two products that we've been working on, and we're like, okay, which one is more viable and what can we exactly.
Because I know that there's one company like this that if you guys are actually into tech, I think they give like 20K for equity. I think the equity is like 4% actually that they ask for. which I still feel is kind of high. Let me know.
That's too high from what you're looking for. We are looking for a lot more money than that.
But then, like, it's see, this is negotiation. It's you sitting down and negotiate, though. And you should check out this company. Is it Rising Tide? I think so. They invest in women.
Own businesses.
I think that's another thing.
That's something that I know that at least that if it were a tech company and exactly, it would have been softer because the track record is there, the year-on-year growth is there. We can all see all the numbers and everything looks good on paper. But then when it comes to people, actually, then there's we actually did one. We got to the last stage and it's like, there's elections coming up in Nigeria. We don't know what the climate is going to be like, so we don't really want to risk it and all of that. So
every small business is one step
from so. We don't know if I'm actually going into extinction because we don't know if there's going to be, we don't know what's going to happen.
The election is
exactly. So everybody's just trying to hold on and see what's going to.
I was still telling that there was something that me and people were working on that we're thinking Benin Republic. Honestly, like we're already thinking that. Benin Republic don't know what will happen.
I have a friend that every time he talks, he just says, "When are you moving yourself, your business, and all the ideas and all the things that you have learned out of that country? Please, I'm begging you." Every time I listen to you,
I feel like a lot of times you see growth faster in some of the
outside the country.
Not that you would say. I'm sure, 100% sure that if I was operating in another country, we would have gone further. We would have been great because the numbers are there basically, and we are doing all the right things and the consistency over the years. Even when we didn't really have funding, and I had to pull funds from friends. It's a long time to do something, basically.
It is, but that's very good. What other thing again? Yes, I have this very interesting question, right? Which I feel like is every question for every entrepreneur.
Okay.
Has any employee stolen from you?
Oh yeah.
Like I always tell people that the way you like. See, I was talking to a friend and I was telling the person that as an employer, think like a thief. Right, because when you think like a thief, you've seen loopholes in your business that will allow somebody to steal from you. So when you have proper internal control systems, right, for that person to steal from you,
it will take a bit of time.
Frustration.
Which there will be a very high chance that you will catch the person in the process of stealing
because of the structure that you.
So when that happened, how did you handle it?
Okay, so. Like I always say,
and maybe what angle? Sorry, before you continue, what angle? Like, is it in processing or even customer interface? Because there are different streams of it.
Yeah. So I always refer to my banking experience and all that because it will take a bit of time for you to get things because of that. Like I'm a very let's use tech to solve this problem person.
Yeah.
So I would rather not do things manually. Let everything be where everybody can see it. For example, like, my team members, everybody knows the amount of inventory in stock right now. So nobody gets to ask anybody any question about anything. You can verify. Okay. So basically everything is there. Everything is up. Like we don't do cash at all under any circumstance at all. Like there's nobody cash is passing through basically.
Yeah,
you can literally not say, we don't do it at all. So cash is out of the question. Nobody can say money is missing at any point. Okay. And then we know that we keep our books at the end of the month so we can tell. And then eventually everything is like based on
we have an inventory system.
Yeah, we have an inventory system, 100%. So everything is because I used to work in retail. So experiences from all these places that I have worked have helped me get to where I currently am. So basically, we have an inventory because I used to work in retail. Okay. So we have like an inventory system where everything that comes in, we are doing the purchasing, we are checking, everything is complete now. So everything is now on the system and everything is back end. So everybody can see. So if an item goes missing and it is not sold, so then what happens to it? So somebody is responsible for that because this is your job, to manage the inventory. So then you get to, but the way the person was stealing, he was very smart.
That person understood the system.
The person understood the system because it was even a dispatch rider. So we have this exchange policy, we have returns policy. So so that was out. So you've placed an order, we've checked it out of the system, it's been delivered to you, and then you send a complaint. Oh, sorry, it's not my size. I need to exchange it for something else. So we do that. Okay. So sometimes they exchange it for stock credit. Sometimes they exchange it for another product instantly. Okay. So in the time where you say, so we need you to pick up from Mr. A. and then drop it back. So the person just picks up and doesn't drop it. So there's a place that returns go to, so that for process, so that we can check if everything is still in the same condition, so that we can. So that was where the person. So before they re-enter the system, and then at that point, there's a possibility that the person who is supposed to do that will now forget to do it, and then the items go missing, and then we've already been checked out. So there's a chance that nobody remembers that item again. But we have returned that product online. So so that's why most of the time, what the first thing when a customer wants to return an item is to return it on the system, online, so that we know that we still have it, and then we can now trace that, oh, it was returned. Look at it, that it was checked out, it was returned then. Now, so where is it? So at that time, I didn't have that system in place where I just go and return the item immediately. So this person was stealing all the shoes that they were collecting like back. So there were some that I would remember, and I'm like, I'm sorry, this person returned this item. So why don't we have it anymore? I mean, it was one, and then they returned it. So where is it? And then it took a while. So I decided to then figure out what was going on by setting a trap, actually, to see if, am I right? Or maybe I'm being paranoid that this person was actually stealing shoes. And then it turned out that he was actually stealing them. We didn't bother with any conversation. We just ended it.
So I'd like to also know how you have been able to treat quality and then referrals. Do you have a rack up of returning customers, or you have a rack up of new customers? You understand? So your referrals and returning customers, how has that whole end been?
As at this time, we have over 65% of returning customer rate. Basically, we have people that have been buying from since year one till this very moment they have been buying. So those people, and then we also have, there's something on the website that allows you like have a referral code and all of that. But then there's this thing with us Nigerians also not, first of all, not wanting to use the website. Secondly, because that wasn't where we started from 100, from the beginning. So moving customers from that point
offline to online,
from that, say maybe social media like Instagram, Twitter, WhatsApp, then moving them to websites is quite like difficult, because then you have to convince them. So we have to put a lot of incentives in place for the website purchases and all of that. So the thing that we do with referrals is that sometimes, when you keep, for returning customers, I'll answer that first. For returning customers, we do this thing where the system just tracks all your order. When you get to a particular amount of like in total purchase, you get moved to the gold customer. So you get an automatic discount code that is attached to your name that you can use, that gives you like a continuous discount code every time you make a purchase. So it's like a little gift that they are very excited about, and then it shows that, oh, this person is thinking about me. So everybody in that category then gets, when there's a sale, then gets like heads up like of like maybe 7 hours or 12 hours before every other person. So you get your own mail saying that we have a sale tomorrow, you get it first. So if you need to buy an item, so this is the code, and then you get it first. So you get it in your email. So it's like, okay, VIP customers, that's how they are treated, basically. Nice. But then for referrals, like if you sign up, you get your referral code, and you get your friends to use the code on the website, then you like you get points, you accumulate points, because it's automated. So basically, depending on whatever points when your codes are used.
Are we not going to invest with Shupi? Because this is looking like,
honesty, very honest.
I've always said this, I'm sure LDPians will be tired of me. I have a soft spot for small businesses.
We are tired.
And their growth. Like, it is something. So when I meet, people like yourself, doing that thing and that tenacity, putting in the because work. First off, that salary, thinking of how you will even generate salary, and then do you have people working with you aside yourself that on it?
A team of 6 people, basically.
So thinking of
6 people.
Paying people, a team of 6 people salary every month.
From the moment you start paying salary, right?
You have to get your books right. At first, I was like, oh, we're making profit. And then we started paying salary. I'm like, no, we are not making profits. We need to go back to the table and withdraw this thing. And then we need, I need to figure out. So when I talk to people now, and they say, oh, it's because I don't know. I didn't have the resources from day one. It had to be drawn out. Like I said, there's so many times that you'll be thinking, oh, what I need is funding. But when they ask you what you need the funding for, when you get access to the money, you end up like, and I don't believe in small businesses getting access to a lot of funding too early. At the beginning, most people don't know what to do with the money or how to use the money. So when you get a particular stage, you already know exactly what your pain points are and where you should be spending money on.
Sure.
When people get money, they just get the fancy offices, they
Yeah.
get all the, maybe the fancy, now if somebody needs a company
Container
car,
over
now
content.
somebody needs something, and then before you know it, the money is gone and you haven't really done anything with it,
Groundwork,
basically.
yeah.
So yes,
Wow.
that's one thing
Many
that I try to.
evil startups that you people know are sitting on this table.
Plenty startups are sitting on this.
Yeah, I
table.
do
That
agree
one.
with
Even the
that.
ones you know, they are,
I do
you
agree
know,
with that.
there are times I hear like, don't let me even go in.
Don't go there.
Because I feel like I'll just be casting plenty people's bomb. But
Don't go
yeah,
there.
so like I like the fact that it seems like you're on the right track, to be very honest. Like you're caring about the business, caring about yourself as well. Because you're paying yourself salary.
Yes, definitely.
And-
That's important.
And caring
go.
about
That's
the
very
customers.
important.
And
So
one thing
far.
I tell people is see your company as a going concern. Like if you die now, can the company survive?
Are you in my
From
head?
that moment, I think that's when you begin to take the organization serious and
True.
processes. And one thing I've also learned, because I've worked with with startups, aside from, let's say it's just normal 9 to 5, like I actually mean like even work, like personal freelance work. And I see that a lot of CEOs, they find it difficult opening the arms to their employees. So they are so used to taking care of everything.
People, you can struggle with
that they begin to lose track of
you can
when
try
they
to
need
micromanage your staff members when you start having them.
That when that
crazy.
they do it so much and they begin to lose track of when to now focus on strategy rather than being keen in the operations. That's why they CEO and they CEO. Oh,
Like she said also, at the beginning of the business,
Yeah.
the business might not be able to afford both, having both persons. So
No, you don't get what I'm trying to say. What I'm trying to say is that at some point, you as a CEO, you need to begin to see yourself in the limelight of just being a strategist.
at some point. So while the business have moved forward,
while you now have an
daily operations of the business,
yes.
So instead of focusing on
how to expand
for
the
the
business, because that is where CEO comes
true.
in. That's why you see some
Strategy.
CEOs. There was a place I worked in. I can count how many times I saw my CEO in that place. To be honest, like I can literally count. It was the CEO that handled literally everything daily operations. A lot of times, it was even always out of the country. That was how
expanding
it was.
the frontiers.
Yes, looking for ways to do stuff. That was one of the places I really learned that you can even work like remotely, like without being there, and still be able to do like candid stuff. So I found out that you guys find it very difficult to like let go.
100% sitting on the table,
Because
I think it's
100% sitting on the table because it's very hard.
It's
I
hard.
feel like it came from an emotional place for me.
Okay.
Like, okay, this is something that I wanted to
Your
do.
baby.
Your blood and sweat.
So this tears, blood and sweat is something that I say in every conversation.
Yeah.
So I'm like, no, I built this thing with my blood, sweat, and tears. You cannot tell me how to.
Yeah.
So I remember that the very first like properly structured employee that joined the company, every other person, no, informal, okay, just help me do this and that, and then I'll pay you for it. One day, after spending about 3 months, she was like, oh, hi, Wumi, please, let's have a meeting, please. Can I talk to you for a minute? I said, yes, sure. She said, I understand that this business is your baby, and I understand that you built it with your sweat and blood, but you have employed me to do something. Please let me do my job.
Yeah.
Do not micromanage me, because as you are micromanaging me, I'm not able to do my job, and I'm not able to deliver. So when you don't micromanage me, then I can do my job to the best of my ability, and then you can go and do something else. Because at the end of the day, you have employed me for something, but you keep doing the job. So I'm just there sitting down, and then I get my salary. So if you want me to keep getting the money, that's okay. But if you want me to do my job, you need to let go. And it took a long time. So I had to put some measures in place. Like, okay, if I don't see these messages, if I don't see these emails from customers, then I won't be prompted to respond to them. So I can do some checks later, maybe at the end of the week, to see where are we on this thing. But if I don't have like a real-time access to these things, then I can't start to say I want to spring into action to start to solve these problems. Yes, definitely.
So I work this week or thereabouts. I think maybe it was on Thursday or thereabouts. We had a meeting arranged with a particular company, right? So with the meeting arranged with the company, so I had the partnerships officer and the operations manager of Nigeria.
Okay.
Deciding to go for the meeting. So the operations manager now told me that for it to be lovely to have you in the meeting. I now said that both of you are enough to handle the meeting. Because Kini Mwambe, like what exactly am I doing there? Plus, I strongly believe in strategic positioning, right? Because I'm sure that that company, the person that is their own boss won't be
He's
in that
not there.
meeting.
I get
And
you.
when you are in the meeting, what I feel, because if it was coming from my own
Like
point
you
of
don't
view, I would
trust
feel
the
there's no
people there.
trust, right? And I believe that the reason why you employed somebody is because you strongly believe that they can contribute to that part, and they're likely smarter than you in that area. Whenever I feel like somebody is not smarter than you in the area, then you employed wrong.
Yeah, actually.
Then sack the person.
Except person and
let the person go. Except, of course, if the person
Hiring
is
wrong
learning
is
on
very
the job.
expensive.
People
don't know it, but it is very expensive.
I agree.
Yeah, right.
No, it is
See,
expensive.
the way hiring is, and what Ojumitiri,
what Ojumitiri,
especially in the industry I'm currently working in, it is so different.
Service
Are dealing with, because I work in a football industry, right? And the people you are dealing with are coaches. What's Ojumitiri? Like, they've shown me pepper, because you will see certain people do things and you'll be wondering, and you're like, excuse me. So now you as a company, you now need to bring up plans on how to actually let that business move properly, right? So one thing I've just learned is, even though I'm not the owner of the company, but I've just learned is that startup owners, like, you need to let go a bit more. The more you begin to let go, the more you know that your company has more
as test what you have. You still also test what you have built. But I get your angle. I also get her angle. Like,
definitely.
That emotional.
Yes, you are attached.
Is very strong.
You have to, like, win yourself little by little.
Yeah,
you have to attach, because at the end of the day, you find out that you're doing all the work that you have employed people to do, and you don't even have time to do the things that, and then every time you are super stressed, you don't have time to then do the things that will contribute to the growth of the company, apart from your day-to-day runnings. So every time, and then you take account, what have you done today? Operations, everything, no strategy, nothing. And then you're thinking, what am I going to, like, at this point? Oh, this business is not moving forward. We can't get to this point because you have spent the entire day saying, oh, this person did not, this customer wanted this, and then at some point I'm like, this is not my job. Like, why can't I just let go and trust that this person that I have hired to do this will actually do their job? I know it can be hard, but like, and then also people say, oh, we don't have money to employ people. I do also think that it's coming from a place of, you are thinking small at that yourself, point. You're not thinking. Sometimes you make these things up as you go. Sometimes you can employ coppers who are just finishing school. Sometimes students have been home. Students have been home. They were home for like 8 months. They were not going to get paid what somebody who has experience is getting paid. Or sometimes they're really smart. Some of them are really smart that all you need to do is put them through, like, for 2 weeks, and then they will learn on the job, and then you can do that till you have money. There was a time that somebody wanted me to speak to someone, and then our response was, oh, it's because you guys have money to do this. And I'm like, you can do a Google Sheet. It's free online. That just do it. Just make sure that your data is correct. Because if you're not using data to run your business, I'm sorry, you're running on vibes.
You're very right.
One of the things I said, that for somebody that I pride myself to an extent, right, in this thing, I pride myself to an extent in doing operations and finance. One of the greatest mistakes I made in the entrepreneurship life was, I didn't employ an operations manager, and I stopped instead of getting somebody to handle the operations because I had a lot of things going on in 9 to 5 and also career life. I could have just stayed on supervision role and let the person do it instead of stopping. So now coming back feels like a struggle. Like, you know, when you're
that
thinking
takeoff thing is,
when you're looking at something, you're like, wow. Do you know what you would have even done, like, within this period?
People always think that business owners, founders, everybody thinks that they can do the best. Sorry, your idea is not, you're not that great at doing these things. People can be better at it than you. Don't worry, you're not that great at doing it. People be like, oh, nobody can do it better than me. No, don't worry, they will do it. And they will do it well, actually, and better.
One of my greatest mistakes, I think I still shared it with you
recently.
I still
spoke about it. But would take off. We'll take
definitely. So thank you so much,
Thank you so much, Wumi.
We are thank you guys so for grateful. You guys follow Shopify everywhere.
Shopify for the website, and for our Instagram and Twitter is just Shopify, SHOEPIFY. Yes, that's it. So
and you guys buy as well. I think one of my friends has actually bought from you before.
Oh.
I think that was
Well, she should
before.
create
I think that was before.
Yes, I can actually give you guys your
that
own
we
code.
can
We can do
share.
that. That's something that we
Yes.
can do, that you can
Yes,
share,
true,
and then
true,
for every
true.
purchase that comes
To
in,
get people.
They
Yeah.
buy from you and they get
Exactly.
discounts.
Yes.
You know, we
They
did
get
it with
discounts,
discounts.
we did it with
We can talk about that.
Yes, we did with all
Like
that.
that. Show, yes,
Don't worry,
we can
we'll,
talk
yes.
we'll
about
post
Just
it
Coco.
on Instagram.
Yes.
Yeah.
We can do that
Yes.
too.
Yeah, so you guys follow them. Before I even found out that she was the one, it was
Yeah.
Bibiana. I think she had gotten from her or
We are,
something.
we are an online fashion retail
Yeah.
store, strictly mostly for women, like 95% for women.
For
Women. Okay, all right, guys. So we have a nugget to end this episode. Let me say where it's from. Proverbs 14, verse 23. All hard work brings a profit, but mere talk leads only to poverty. So that idea, start working on it. You cannot just be talking. Talk and do. Okay?
Talk and do.
All right,
Actually, talk
thanks,
and do.
guys.
fam.
We'll talk to you another
Thank you so
time.
much.
Bye.
Bye.